Hello and welcome to our next interview on the Beyond Boundaries series. I'm joined by a man who I've got to know over the years, Alex Bond.
Hi.
Now, Alex, you're known in the industry for your business, which is a podcast business, right?
No.
Right. Come on.
So
here we go.
You're very good straight man then. I thought you were being serious. It's like, no.
It's people sometimes think so Sønr, you write newsletters.
Yeah.
It's just sure. So actually, the reason I do know you is from your podcast.
Yes.
In all seriousness.
Yeah.
That's how I sort of maybe first heard about you guys. But you run FinPro.
Yes.
You founded FinPro. Tell me, what is FinPro and where do you fit into this wonderful ecosystem that we inhabit?
I'm like an unwelcome visitor. So FinPro is a executive search firm or recruitment company, or we'll answer to anyone of the above, headhunting firm, purely for the Insurtech industry.
Okay.
So, very brief background, I used to work for a carrier a long time ago for RSA, and then I've done search into the insurance space internationally for 20 years.
But you look so young. I can't believe it.
I wish that were true. It's good lighting. So 5 years ago, really took FinPro seriously and wanted to build out something that was in this emerging world of Insurtech. Not being honest, not really knowing what that means. And now what that means today, we've got 6 people, we're based in London, we work internationally, we probably do over 50% of our revenue in the US. We're obviously here in Europe. Europe's a growing thing for us. We work specifically with venture-backed startup and scale-up Insurtechs of all sizes. So that can be anything from a full-stack digital insurer through to a sort of niche software solution in the space.
Okay, wonderful. So 5 years in,
Yeah.
I mean, there's been pretty remarkable changes in the industry, right?
Yeah.
Tell me, what have you seen? So, I mean, you're working with a really interesting mix of businesses. I know a ton of your clients and connections. What have you seen as the sort of the key changes, and maybe from a talent perspective, but broader if you want to go there, over the last 5 years, and then maybe a perspective into kind of right now, but looking forward, what are you seeing as kind of the hot topics and trends that we're into?
Yeah. Well, let's start with the founding teams. The founding teams have changed. That's been a big thing that you've noticed, where, let's say, 5 years ago, it was lots of kind of new money into the industry. So lots of venture capital. It was a really good market for venture. Lots of venture tourists as well, who were like going into Insurtech and maybe weren't Insurtech specific. That's definitely changed. So that money has now kind of moved to be probably purely Insurtech specific money is coming in now. So either Insurtech specific funds or like corporate ventures, a lot of a bigger player now for us. And then the founding teams, it was people coming from all over the place, you know, whether it be kind of Silicon Valley startup world and then coming in with an idea about how do we change insurance. We've now got teams that look kind of more blended. So you might have a technologist and an insurance person, quote unquote. And so what that's meant for us, we were kind of usually bringing insurance talent to a software business. Now there's a whole range of kind of different roles that we're looking at around expansion. And then I think the 1.0 to 3.0 or whatever version of Insurtech we're in now, it was all distribution. It was like, how do we sell insurance to more people? And I think now the sort of overarching trend is, insurance is pretty good at doing insurance. How do we help insurance businesses be more efficient, be more effective, serve their customers more? And so those are kind of overarching trends. And obviously people and talent just follows that behind. So if you need to implement AI into your business, then you're just trying to bring in AI developer talent from all over the industry, other industries. But still, thematically, if you build things, you need someone to build it and you need someone to sell it. And that's usually what we're doing every day.
And on the basis you have a growing team, and I get to see you like around the world more and more and more.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's testament to the industry is still hungrily recruiting, needing that talent.
Yeah.
You got to build, right? The signals are we're still on and up.
Yeah, I think so. I just think that capital's being more prudent, right? And so it was, I mean, in the good old days, for a recruitment professional, we'd get remits going, Alex, we need 10 people, we need them tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's now we need 2 people. We need to get this really right. And what I would say from our perspective, people are taking it much more seriously. So people are taking longer to hire, and there's a little bit of indecision there. So that's not a great indicator. That says that the market's kind of growing, but there's still some uncertainty. But people are prepared to pay more. One, to find the right talent, so for services. So we're probably busier, but there's probably less roles as a whole. But no, I think the industry is very robust.
Yeah.
But I just think where the money is going is a bit more spread out. There's a lot more seed capital coming in. There's a concentration of rounds. So that we still see these very large Insurtechs attracting huge check sizes. That probably tricky middle bit, where unfortunately, people have been walking zombies, haven't they? Where they don't make enough money to be particularly profitable. There's not enough venture capital for them to keep going. There's been some victims there, and I think those businesses are struggling to attract. But no, I think it's a really healthy indication of where we are. But then that is also a global picture because we work internationally.
Yeah. So, are you seeing? Can you get into that more so? I always thought, and you echoed it, right? Is the majority of your business comes from North America?
Yes.
And for me, it's exactly the same for us at Sønr, right? And so we therefore, as an ambitious growing business, want to double down on that as a territory, and therefore it's the same as you. But you also talk about the European market being an opportunity for you and growth, right? Are you seeing the different variants in geography in terms of appetite for your services, but also kind of appetite for or need for growth? I mean, it's like, we hear a lot about Silicon Valley and the AI resurgence, right? Yeah. And how many people are now heading that direction, and it's kind of like reinvigorating that space. For you, any kind of particular perspectives on geography, one leading another? I mean, have you tried kind of Asia and looked at that, or the more emergent markets like Africa or LATAM? Have you tapped into those spaces, or is it?
Yeah, I mean that's where there's a weakness in. That's a weakness in the recruitment model as a business. So we've had so many really interesting conversations about Africa, for example, and there's some super interesting businesses out there. That's the privilege of running the podcast. So the podcast is something we do for free.
We should probably talk about the podcast.
Yeah, well, I'll just drop it in because I think it tackles this issue, is that we run that to promote the ecosystem. Yeah. We thrive if the ecosystem's thriving. So we want the ecosystem to do well. So that is like emerging markets and places in Africa, for example, seeing some really interesting things happen. And also because the insurance evolution is unique to its marketplace. So there are challenges in different marketplaces which are kind of completely unique. Africa's a really good example. As a continent, there are different challenges there and different solutions there. So that's really interesting. The problem being in the recruitment model is that the pricing model, I don't think this is surprising to anyone, is related to the salaries and compensation packages on offer. That is not high enough probably to justify working with a company like ours, as opposed to North America or mainland Europe. So that's where the podcast comes into its own, because it allows me to kind of work with and promote emerging markets and emerging businesses in markets where probably financially doesn't make sense for us to focus, which is sad because a lot of the most interesting conversations I have are in these things.
I hear you.
But I would say sort of trend-wise in areas that we do work, North America and a lot of the European work we've been doing is international business coming into Europe. So whether that be Asian businesses, there's some very large Asian Insurtechs that are expanding across Europe, and we've been helping them do some of the first boots on the ground in different countries, and the same for North American businesses as well. So a lot of them have seen not clearly they haven't saturated the US, but I have sort of thematically heard people say that they feel parts of Europe are behind from a tech stack perspective. Now, I also had a counter argument to that yesterday. Funnily enough, we're at a European conference, and people go, "No, I think US is way behind." So there seems to be kind of some indecision about how mature, from a tech stack perspective, a lot of kind of the mainland European insurer businesses are, and I think that's where the US market sees there an opportunity.
Yeah. Okay, love it. Let's just touch lightly on the podcast. What is it called?
Oh, it's the Leadership in Insurance podcast.
Where can people tune in?
Any of your major podcasting platforms.
Beautiful. And how often do you publish a pod?
It's supposed to
Is
go
it
out
weekly?
It's supposed to go out every Monday. Occasionally,
Every Monday?
Occasionally it doesn't.
Yeah, that's the life, right?
Yeah, we're usually on top of it, but we're over 300 episodes in now. We get
You've interviewed some quite remarkable names in the industry, right?
yeah. There is quite. I'll tell a funny story just to give props to my colleague Sophie that you do know very well,
Sure.
Sophie Weston, who used to help me just promote the podcast, but now runs our relationship with the investor community. On our 100th episode, I was like, right, I want to get either good friend of yours, Nigel Walsh,
Sure,
on the
sure.
podcast. I think at the time Ed Gaze was running the Lloyd's Labs. I wanted Ed, and then just for a laugh, I threw in Bruce Connolly, Brown, chairman of Lloyd's. Within 48 hours, Sophie had secured interviews with all three of them, and I had to decide who.
That's amazing.
So we had to go into Lloyd's, and then we had the great privilege of shooting in the lab and interviewing Bruce Connolly Brown. So no, we've been really, really lucky with the guests we've had on.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so what's next for FinPro? Let's wrap it up on maybe that one because we are well out of time.
Yeah, no, of course.
No, tell me what's next. What's the journey hold? More growth, more brilliance, more pods?
more growth, more things that we want to do. That there's. If I say it now, it's going to commit it to.
Sure.
We run a thing called We're Insurtech Women, which is actually, I think, how we really, really sort of got to know each other better.
Yeah, that's true, right? Yeah.
Because you were running Tuesday?
Yeah, we kind of collaborated on some of the stuff.
Yeah, so we were trying to do a networking platform. It's now largely a podcast, and we've started to do live events. So we want to do more live events with that. We want to try and raise some sort of incubation fund for women trying to launch, like a pre-seed fund for women trying to launch into space.
Brilliant.
So I'm going to have to put my hand in my pocket and start that pool.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try and get some other businesses to either pull in resources, whether it be kind of research resources or whether it be kind of like marketing or tech resources. Let's try and put something together that's worth having rather than one of these incubation prizes you sometimes see and you sort of look at the small print, you're like, you get some free AWS usage. You're like,
Super
great.
brilliant.
So we actually want to put some money behind it. So that's the next thing we do. Otherwise, but that doesn't happen without the recruitment growth and the business
of course.
growing.
Yeah.
So, pushing on, working with like bigger clients, expanding. I had an ill-fated attempt to move to North America. I suspect at the moment we won't go out there, but we are going to add a couple more heads to the team. So, 6 will probably become 10 before very short notice, I think.
Cool. Thanks, Alex. And thank you for tuning into the Beyond Boundaries series. There's going to be more to follow, so please subscribe. Please keep coming back, tuning in, all the good stuff. Alex, thanks very much, fella.
Thank you very much.